Welcome to Marketing in the Age of AI, the show for leaders who want real results, not more noise. Join Emmanuel Rose as he helps business builders turn AI from a confusing add-on into a practical advantage with clearer messaging, stronger trust, and smarter systems. If you felt the shift happening in real time, you're not imagining it. In the agentic pivot, Emmanuel calls it the move from experimenting with AI to building with it, so it supports your team, your brand, and your growth. Let's get into it.
I'm Emmanuel Rose. Today on Marketing in the Age of AI, I'm talking with Chris Silvestri, the conversion alchemist. Chris began his career as a software engineer in industrial automation, moved into UX and copywriting, and now focuses on SaaS message, market fit, and conversion strategy. He's helped brands like Moz turn fuzzy messaging into systems that scale and convert. We'll get tactical on testing messaging, aligning product and UX, and measuring the lift that actually matters. Chris, thanks so much for taking some time to have a conversation with me.
Hey, Manuel, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to talk about all of this. AI is pretty exciting. Pretty hectic moments for AI right now, changing every week.
Oh, there's no question about that. We're seeing a technology that continues day after day to move farther and farther ahead of the people that need to be able to use it.
Definitely. Yeah, it's hard to keep up.
Yeah, and it's tough. It's tough to, for me, when I'm helping a company implement good structured strategy from strategic planning and change management, and managing their data modes, and just getting that part of the AI project together. That's a 1, 2, 3 month process, and everything is pushed farther and farther ahead.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm curious. I want to, even though like you were supposed to ask me a question, but I want to ask you a question as well. I'm curious, what do you see are kind of the biggest blockers for companies, especially the enterprise ones? Is it security or lack of knowledge? What is it?
I really still think it's the human capital. I think there's enough people on the teams that are concerned they're going to lose their job, or they don't want to have to learn something new, or they're already overwhelmed and burned out. So that's still the bottleneck that I'm seeing in the deployments that I'm helping with, which is really too bad, right? Because you and I know the leverage that exists.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a minimum of a 5x lever, right? If I spend 5 hours on a project, I'm going to get 25 or 50 hours of benefit by using an AI tool. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm seeing in the industry is that more and more companies now are coming up with AI-related roles between a agentic engineer, or there's vibe coding engineer now. And so, yeah, I definitely think that the best solution is actually to try and keep up as much as possible with tools. Obviously, I would suggest like pick your lane, because there's so much stuff that you might get lost easily. So pick your lane, pick your skill stack, and and try to accumulate those skills in a way that you can actually help your company grow.
And now I would assume by the role that you hold that you use Claude, but is that accurate assessment?
I actually use the Anthropic, so I use the Claude's API, but I don't really use the normal commercial app, just because of the limitations that it has. I would basically reach the limit every single day, a couple of times. So I use another tool that plugs into the API with Anthropic, OpenAI, and I basically use the API that I need based on the task that I need to work on, whether it's research, strategy, or copy. Each one has one that works better, I think.
No, that makes sense. And then where are you building like kind of these custom GPTs for the work that you're doing? I mean, I know that's not what they call it.
I rather than custom GPTs, I might build them. I built a couple for some clients that need to use them after I'm done with my project, just because it's the easier kind of packet that you can create and share with people. But when it comes to my actual work that I do is more building projects, folders and projects with context and knowledge bases. So that's how I
Yeah.
typically go. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I mean, that's one more level, I would say more to the code side, right? Not so much just a
Yeah.
role. So the average, or the typical executive, I'm saying, build your custom GPTs so that you have the ability to, if it's email, that you have the ability to build your tone and your response patterns and all those things, and copy paste, and you're done basically.
Yeah. Yeah. The only thing that I like downside of using GPTs usually that I'm seeing is that you can see that they have the it's kind of a very characteristic imprint of the commercial model GPT.
No.
So some of the tone in the copy, some of the language and the vocabulary that you use sometimes. I typically try to do some editing as well to kind of remove that.
Yep.
But I found that when you use other tools through the APIs, that layer gets removed. So I think
That's interesting.
in that sense, it's probably a bit better. But I mean, for as far as ease of use, GPTs are probably the best and easiest ones, especially like with the marketplace and everyone.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And one of the ways that I try to manage that is I have exclusion words, I have exclusion
Yeah,
phrases, and
yeah,
then
or
I
even
also have,
examples.
yeah, exactly. And so I have examples of success. And then when I get output and I edit it, then I bring it back in and I say, learn from this finished document.
Mm. Yeah,
And
yeah,
and
that,
so
that
it's
feedback
learning
loop.
all the time. Yeah,
Yeah, nice. Yeah,
yeah. Which is really important with the agents too, right? I do that with my agents on a regular basis. I'm like, here's something that happened. Learn from this because I had
yeah,
to be human in the loop to get it to work correctly.
yeah. Have you tried playing with OpenClaw already?
I have not. No, no,
No,
that's
yeah,
it's a little
it's a bit
beyond my
risky.
capacity.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beyond my
it's a bit
skill.
risky.
But
Yeah,
talk to me a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of SaaS and messaging and what's happening now with all these tools and what clients and teams have all got these tools. And so, what are you seeing is how it's impacting you?
yeah, yeah. So what I'm seeing is that actually there's probably a lot more work for me, but not as far as the actual writing, because a lot of companies they can write now. They're a bit more enabled as far as the writing part. But when it comes to
Yeah.
the strategy, which means positioning strategy, messaging strategy, and all the research that's before all that,
Yes.
there's still a lot of work that's needed to be done. And I typically find that once we set those foundations correctly, then the writing almost now comes on its own, right? Because of AI, because of how those tools enable you to work. It's just probably the downside, if there was a downside of using AI to write, is that you can create a lot of volume now, a lot of
Yeah.
volume, a lot of documents. So it's easy to overdo it, create a lot of quantity, a lot of documents, even as at a strategy um, layer. A lot of documents that then nobody uses. So you still need a lot of judgment, a lot of judgment, and a lot of discernment to be able to say, okay, this is the only thing that we need. When it comes to copy, we need to limit and be concise, or we need to explain this a bit better in certain parts. So there's still that kind of strategic approach that you need in all of these different areas that a lot of companies might struggle with still.
Yeah, no, I think I agree with you 100%. I love that where you say there's a lot of volume
Yeah,
and
a lot of
and
crap as well.
yeah. Well, I mean, if you have a lot of volume that is not embedded or imbued with strategy, then you have a bunch of junk,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you could publish it every second, every day, and you're not going to convert because of that.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
explain to me a little bit about your process about how what are two or three of the things that you do when you get a client, you look at a website
Mhm.
or some ads or something, and you start to deconstruct the fuzziness and you help them bring clarity to it.
Yeah, so so that's typically when potential clients come to me, the typical sign for them is they tell me, we need to rewrite the copy, we need to rewrite the website copy, or this landing page, or these ads, or these emails. But then again, we jump in, we have the first discussions, and then we realize, okay, it's not really the copy, or it might be the copy, but there's something else going on. And so it might be, again, they don't have enough data on their ICP, their customers, or they
Uh-huh.
might not have a well defined or differentiated positioning, or they might not be able to translate that positioning into a messaging strategy, which
Right.
also means they might not have a super distinct and clear point of view, which is now, especially with all the volume again and all the AI slop, having a strong point of view and a strategic narrative, it's really what differentiates you. So that's super important. And a lot of companies might struggle to articulate that. And so, yeah, once we understand what layer we need to act, then that's where we jump in. And from that, we work on the other ones as well.
I love that, and I think so. I'm hearing you got ICP, you got messaging. The other thing that's I think interesting is that as marketers, sometimes we get lost in the fact that only 5 to 10% of our market is actually buying right now. The
Yeah.
rest of them are researching and self-educating and running it through politics and all that.
Yeah.
And so we have to understand also where they kind of are in that education funnel, if you want to call it that, right?
Yeah, for sure. All the typically when we map the ICPs, I try to understand who's the check signer, who's the manager of the situation, who's the influencer, and who's the actual daily user. And
Yeah.
once we have all of that, like group buying committee dynamics, then
Yeah.
it's way easier to actually target the specific people at the right time with the specific language as well on the website or emails or along the journey in general.
And have you found that it's getting easier to work with clients, or more complicated since when you started, or what's that experience like for you so far?
There's definitely a lot of people think that they know how to write just because they use ChatGPT now. So it's a bit more education to for me in order to tell them, yes, you might be able to produce a lot of copy, but again, let's look at the strategy up front that might not be super clear, and that's why your copy is not converting. Your copy might be clear or clever, but if it actually doesn't resonate with the right people at the right time, that's the main problem, right? So you need to be able to be super specific, super relevant, and also match. I basically call it match the conversation that people have when they land on your website, because
Right.
especially now, if you think about it, with AI search, there's been some research done as well by Winter, I think, where they basically noticed, okay, a lot of people might start on ChatGPT to research now, then they might land on a review site like G2, then they might Google
Yep.
you. But at the end of the day, they always land on your website. The website is still kind of the final point of contact where people actually look at your messaging. And so that's still a very strong and opinionated point that you need to have in their journey to actually convert them, which is also the only thing that you can actually control, right? You cannot really control AI search or Google really, apart from, yeah, there's lots of ads now, it's super crowded, and reviews as well. People don't trust them a lot anymore. So
Right. And then is there like a structure that you like to follow in the copywriting? Like if I'm direct consumer, I'm going to do problem solution, agitate, call to action. If sometimes I'll use
yeah,
the hero's journey. So what kind of structure do you use, Chris?
yeah, I use formulas like the ADA or PPPP, like attention, interest, desire, or
Yeah.
what's that, promise, proof, push. I use a couple of different formulas, but I like to use formulas maybe for specific sections. Say, for example, you have this title, paragraph, bullet points. In that section, I might use a formula just to make it more effective. But when
Yeah.
it comes to pages, especially something as complex as the homepage, for example, I
Yeah.
like to really think in terms of the journey of the customer. So the simplest framework that I use is thinking in terms of value. So what are you promising? No, actually, the first one is motivation. So matching the motivation that people have when they land on the page, right? The
Okay.
second one
Yeah.
is value. So what are you promising them and how we do it differently? and then kind of calming their anxiety, decreasing their anxiety level, the friction, and finally a call to action. If you expand that into more specific sections, the first one, which a lot of companies get wrong, a lot of companies start saying, okay, this is what we do, this is what we are, it's all about us we
Right.
do, right? the,
Boring. Yeah.
the first thing, actually probably the most effective that you can do, is actually again matching what they're thinking, which is tell them why they're there, right? And how you help them. So the easiest thing to think about is if they land on your page and you can complete the sentence, I want to dot dot dot, it's
Nice.
basically you're matching what they're thinking when they land on the page. Second, after that, gives them some proof, match, like prove what you just said. After that, okay, now you can tell them this is what we do, what we are, and how we do it uniquely or differently or better, which is again back to positioning.
Yep.
And then you can use social proof, address objections, FAQs, how it
Yep.
works, processes to set expectations. And after that, a call to action, right? And calls to action, I like to think of prioritizing for one main call to action and maybe a secondary one. Or on a homepage, the main job is actually not really to have one primary call to action, even though it's useful, but direct the right ICPs to ICP specific pages from the homepage or solution pages.
I love it. I'm going to put you on the spot right here just for a second. And
Nice.
I'm gonna share your homepage, and then
Nice.
yes. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Yeah.
Tell me about what you're doing. Yeah.
First, there's a pop-up, so you should probably close it.
Okay. Yeah, I got that. There we go.
Yes. Yeah. So basically,
right.
so mine, since I'm a consultant, it's yes about matching what they're thinking on the website, but for
Yeah.
me, it's more of a positioning play. So
Okay.
branding and positioning play, just to differentiate myself and what I do. But you can see that basically in
One,
the
two, three.
subhead, basically I go into how I do it and what's
Yeah.
like handle how I'm different. And so if
Yep.
they are looking for messaging and copy and positioning, they see 30 messaging to goal. So message is a keyword. And then the second part is actually, okay, this is how I do it differently, uniquely, or better. And I also like to use message market fit because it's kind of like my own, yeah, it's kind of like a recognizable term. I also have a podcast called the Message Market Fit Podcast. So it's all a theme. Then
Connected. Yeah.
as I mentioned, some proof,
Yep.
social proof, kind of to prove what I just said. And then again, this is what I do and how I do it differently, right? So I don't do, a lot of companies do this as the first thing. They say
Right.
we do message testing, we do writing, copywriting, and all that, and
Yep.
then go into maybe the narrative. I do the opposite, and then yeah, basically just present different offerings that I have and some education blog for people who are not or still not ready,
Yep. I love
and
it.
some more proof, and that's it. Call to action.
Yeah.
Pretty simple.
No, that's great. And you got three different easy call to actions.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
somebody wants to get going. All right. Well, I think it's beautiful. I love the space that is on this site too. There's lots of room, which I think.
Yeah, I like it like more of like minimal but still kind of fun vibe. That's kind of my vibe, as you can see from the tattoos.
Yeah, and I love the. I guess that's you with the goggles and the. Pencil.
Yeah, basically, pretty much.
I love it. So yeah, it is. It's fun and it's energetic and dynamic, and that yet there's still space and good clear
Yeah.
messaging. So I give you an A plus, Chris.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's at your ChristopherSilvestri.com, and then if there's other ways people can get in touch with you, how's that?
Yeah, LinkedIn. You can chat with me on LinkedIn. I'm usually there pretty much every day, just chatting and posting stuff. So anything about AI, messaging, copywriting, and SaaS.
And are you using an AI tool on LinkedIn, or is it still just Chris?
For LinkedIn, it's mostly just me. I might, for example, brainstorm angles or like what I do for clients, I do for myself as well. So I create my messaging framework, my messaging pillars, And so I might use the tool that I use for writing just to,
Yeah,
I don't know, come up with different ideas based on my messaging pillars. And then I pick the ideas, I write the posts, I refine them, edit them, and post them there. Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm still hands on with LinkedIn, and
Yeah.
I think that's much better for me than this, sending out 10,000 DMs every day and hoping to get through.
Yeah. And also, like, writing makes you think better. So if you want to become a better communicator, better thinker, better leader, writing is still something that we should do. You can help use AI to help scale that, but the source should still be you, your thinking, your strategy.
Yep. Otherwise, you just become a bland ChatGPT sounding
Yeah.
executive.
Slop
Yeah.
butt.
All right, Chris. Well, I'm very thankful to you for spending some time with me today, and I appreciate your time and your insight about how we can get a better message market fit.
Thank you so much.
And thanks for doing good work and helping people get good results.
All right, it's been fun. Thank you so much, Manuel.
Okay, we'll see you again. Well, that's good. Stay away from the AI slop, especially when it's about your own personal brand. I hope you enjoyed the conversation I had with Chris Silvestri. I did. I got a lot out of it. And it's always important to get back to the fundamentals and spend time thinking and writing on your own, and then getting help from the AI tools. Well, I hope that you continue to develop an AI first mentality, and you look and find ways to get leverage from the tools, whether it's connecting to Anthropic by API or building custom GPTs to help speed up your email processing or generating proposals. And with that extra time, you continue to upskill, that you spend it with your friends and family, and that you get outside into nature and you get away from the screens. This is Emmanuel Rose, Marketing in the Age of AI.
Thanks for listening to Marketing in the Age of AI. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. Your copy of Authentic Marketing in the Age of AI is available at Amazon.com or EmmanuelRose.com. You can also connect with Emmanuel on LinkedIn. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.